welcome to the day 2 of the Data Analysis Scholarship Live Training. Today we will be looking at learning Excel from the scratch. Learning Excel from scratch. Last week, Saturday, we explored the basics, the introductions to data analysis, and today we will be taking it up using entering Microsoft Excel, learning how to use Microsoft Excel for data analysis. Welcome once again. My name is Franklin. This scholarship is powered by Soluma Institute of Tech and Management. It's data analysis using Microsoft Excel. Today we are starting from the scratch. We are going to begin Excel as if you haven't heard of Excel before. Please, if you are just joining us, head to the scholarship group. Let everyone in the group know that we are live this night. Let everyone know we are live. Welcome once again. Welcome once again. My name is Franklin. I'm the lead facilitator for this particular course, for this particular scholarship. If you are just joining us, I will love that you head to the scholarship group and let everyone know we are live. Let everyone know that we are live. Let everyone know that we are live. Goodness, good to have you. Rosemary, good to have you. Festus, good to have you. Moleko, good to have you. Samzil, good to have you. Let's head to the scholarship group. Find as many as you can. Let them know we are live. Type in the group, we are live, we are up. Today we are starting the journey into becoming a data analyst using Microsoft Excel. And every effective journey begins from learning the basics, learning from the scratch. And that is what tonight's section is going to be. We are going to start Excel from the scratch as if you haven't had the word Excel. That is what we are going to do. Musa Amina, good to have you. Apology Sheriff, good to have us. Let's quickly head to the group, the scholarship group. That's the only place I share the link for this training tonight. However, I will employ us joining to like the live section. You share it to as many as you want to learn the basics of Excel this night. Anybody that is not even part of the scholarship that is eager to learn, the person is welcome. The person is welcome to learn, but the person is not welcome to be certified. It's only 100 persons on scholarship that is going to be certified on this particular course. However, other persons joining from anywhere, they are permitted to get the knowledge, but they are not permitted to get the certificate that backs up the knowledge. All right. Joshua, good to have you. Daniel, good to have you. All right. Now, I want us to head over to the scholarship group. Let everyone there know we are live once again. Let everyone there know we are live. Everyone there, Joseph, good to have you. Let everyone know we are live. I have not started asking us for names and scholarship ID. So those that are dropping their scholarship ID is not, you might think you come immediately, you drop your name and scholarship ID and you zoom off. I haven't asked for it. I might ask for it later. I will ask for it. Please note this. If you have known me or know a bit about me, I'm one that focuses on learning and learning effectively, not just marking attendance. You mark attendance, you learn, and that's why in my section I always take attendance 3 times. I I take attendance either in the beginning or the middle or the end. I take attendance consistently. So those of us writing our names and scholarship ID, I haven't asked for it. All right. We need to stick with the instruction. That's one thing about learning. Okay. Now, tonight we are going to be starting a journey in Microsoft Excel. And Excel remains one of the powerful tools in data analysis. In fact, no professional analyst, no data analyst, I stand to be corrected, but no data analyst on earth that is a data analyst that doesn't know Microsoft Excel. Excel becomes the foundation. Excel becomes the core tool for every data analyst. Hence, for you to successfully, effectively navigate the data analysis journey, you need to begin from mastering this important tool called Microsoft Excel. And Excel can be used for different purposes. There is Excel for project management, there is Excel for accounting, but tonight we are focusing on using Microsoft Excel in analyzing data and getting insights, getting trends to make informed decisions. And in the next 6 weeks, we are going to move from absolute beginners. We are going to move from a novice to becoming a pro in 6 weeks. That is promise guaranteed. Alright, now having established that, we are going to move over from this slide, head into Excel, and then we begin the journey. Okay, now we are going to open the Microsoft Excel. Now when you install Excel on your PC, you are most likely, when you click, this is most likely the first area you are going to get into. This is mostly the first area you are going to get into. And the Excel version I'm using this night is version 2021. I'm using version 2021. So those of us using Excel 2010, Excel 2013, as we progress, as we go further on this course, there might be some functionalities you might not have access to. A time might come, I might upgrade, I might use 2024, or I stick to 2021, which is mostly the one that is really available to persons in 2021 downwards. There are few persons that have gotten the 2024 latest version of Office 365. Alright, now when you install Microsoft Office, Excel is a software that comes alongside a package called Microsoft Office Suite. Now, if you install Microsoft Office on your PC, it comes with it Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, which is our focal point this night. It comes Microsoft PowerPoint, Outlook, Access. In some cases, if you include Microsoft Project, but recently Microsoft Project, they made it a software on its own. Now, having installed and then you open Microsoft Excel, this is mostly where you will come to. This is mostly where it will get to. This is the blank workbook, which is mostly what we are going to be working on as we progress. Blank workbook. Then here you have access to some templates. And I need to say this, that some of these templates, or most of these templates, will need to be connected to the internet in order to get access to most of them. So once we click, we see different templates. You begin to see like your organizational chart if you want to do that, like the photo calendar, monthly budget, different format, charts, different stuff. These are different templates depending on what you want to build on. To-do list, home inventory, and employee access schedule, different templates. However, tonight we are going to be working based on blank workbook. That's what we are going to be working on, based on blank workbook. Then when we look at this, these are different templates. And having said that, also you can search for templates. This is a search bar. It's a search button where you can search for template as well. You can search for any template of your choice. This for business, personal, tracker, list, and what have you. That's not what our focus this night is. Our focus is to be able to do it ourselves, not to use templates. So when we click on home, we get to this place. Here is the recent stuff you have worked upon, you opened. Here is a recent .exe document you have worked on recently. Like you can see here, the inventory management, telecom, logistics, this data set, coffee shop data set, exec function, recent stuff you have worked with. Now let's take for example, I'm going to be explaining this pin. Please follow me. I'm taking it one after the other. I'm taking it one after the other. And also as we progress, feel free, if there is any challenge, feel free to drop your challenge in the chat box. Drop your challenge in the chat box, your questions in the chat box, or I will be reading it as I proceed. Alright. Now this thing is, for example, I don't want, if like this recent stuff here, there are other ones that I have worked with before. And let's say for example, I'm working on a document, for example, this exec basic function. I'm working on it and then I close it to attend to something. Maybe to return to it later. It might not be today or anytime next week. I will return to it to work with it. But I don't want to be searching it on my PC. Where did I save it and what I do? I know I'm still returning back to this particular file. What do I need to do? Knowing fully well that if I don't pin it, that's what I'm trying to explain here. If I don't pin it, new worksheet, new workbook will push it down. The new workbook I'm working on will push it down to an extent where it will not be among the recent files again. So what do I need to do? I will just come and hover over it. You just hover over the name, hover it, you will see it will be highlighted. Once you hover your cursor over it, you will see it is highlighted. So once I hover on it, you will see this icon here pop up. You will see this pin icon that pops up here. What that is, when you put your cursor on it, it will tell you pin this item to the list. Pin this item to the list. So what do I need to do? I just have to click on it. That's all. Just click. So once I click on it, it will show me that this item is pinned. So what that means is that if I close this Excel, come back anytime, whether next week, next month, I don't need to go to the thinking where that file is. I will just open my Excel and come to pinned. I click on this pinned. This becomes, you see it here, that's the recently pinned one. You see it just now. It's telling you that this is what I just pinned now. So it's Excel basic function. So anytime, even if I close this Excel, open it anytime next week, next time, you will see this one, I pinned sales report, I pinned it May 9. So when I want to work on it again anytime, I will come, I don't need to be searching for it where it's saved on my PC. I will just have to come to pin and see the documents I pinned. It comes very handy when you work with multiple files as regards to Excel. You have not finished this one, another one is calling for your attention, and you say, okay, let me keep this one on board. Instead of you just leaving it just like that, you pin it, come back later and take care of it immediately. Alright, that explains that. Then to get into the Excel interface, this is where we refer to as basically Excel back office. We refer to this place basically as Excel back office. Why am I explaining all these things? Is because I know there are some of us on this call who are beginners as regards to Excel, and all these things you need to have a bit knowledge about them. All right, this is the back office. Now, if you want to know the version of Excel you are using or the version of Office you are using, you come to this option called Account. You come to this option called Account. When you click on it, you see that what I'm using here is Excel. This Office 2021 is activated. Now, another thing you will see here is on this place, you can change the office theme. Let's say, for example, if like this is night, I want it to be black, for example. You see it becomes black theme. If I want it to be dark gray, it becomes a dark gray color. If I want it white, it becomes a white theme. If I want it colorful, it becomes that colorful, which is the default settings it comes with. So now if I say, okay, let me make use of the black theme, and that's based on this is night, so as for it to be good to the eyes. And then I made it the black theme, and then that come back to home. Now let's enter into, I'm going to be coming to these options later to explain certain things for us as regards to that later on this live section this night. Okay, now to get straight into the Excel interface, we click on blank workbook. So once we click on blank workbook, this is where we are. This is called Excel workbook. Everything here, please, I'm going to be explaining all these things one after the other, step by step. If you are with me, you can jot down, or later you come back, you will rewatch this. If you are with me, later you rewatch this, please. Or someone is saying the screen is brown, is from your side, increase the quality of the video on your own end. I think that will sort it out. So go to your settings, increase the quality to at least 360p. At least 360p will be okay. Alright, now this is what we call Excel workbook. As it is to all Microsoft Office sheets, this is called a title bar. Follow Microsoft please. This place is called title bar. That's where you see the name of the book we are in. It's called book 1. So if I rename this workbook now to Excel for beginners, it will bear that name Excel for beginners. If I rename it Excel course, it will bear Excel course. So here is the title bar. On the title bar, we have what we call the quick access toolbar. We have what we call the quick access toolbar. Here is the ones that comes by default. We have save, we have the undo, we have the redo, and then we have this one form, Excel form. Now under it we can add other stuff as regards to this toolbar. I can add new. If I click on this new, what happens here? We have 4 options. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I click on this new now, you see we now have 5 icons or options. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here is, instead of this new, is we call it quick access. Instead of me coming here to click on file and go to new, I will just come here and click on new. It will open a new document. or with the shortcut which is Control N to open a new document. That is the customized quick access toolbar. I'm going to be explaining further on this. Then this is a search button where you can search stuff in Excel. This is a very important feature in Microsoft Excel. I think from Excel 2016 thereabout have the search button, the search bar. If you are using from 2016-19, I think you will have this search bar there. Why is it very important? Let's say, for example, you want to use a certain function. You want to use a certain function, but you don't really know where to get that function in Excel. Let's say you want to use, let's say, XLOOKUP, for example, or you want to use, let's say, VLOOKUP, for example, and you don't really know where to get VLOOKUP. You can just type V here, you need V, then okay, I think VLOOKUP should be here. Once you type on it, you see is bringing this up. Immediately it brings up this VLOOKUP. So with that, you don't need to be going to search. You see on that formula, you begin to just come here, type the name of the function. Once the function exists in Excel, it will pop up. That's one of the powerful features of this search bar. Alright, then of course you can sign in into Microsoft, and then this is where you can minimize my restore and close. This is the share button. Now here is the typo bar. Here is the typo bar. Now on this quick access toolbar, now you can bring this quick access toolbar below. This quick access toolbar, you can bring it below the ribbon. So if I say show quick access toolbar below the ribbon, you see what happens. Here is where the quick access toolbar is. So how do you do that? Just right click. Once you right click on it, you will see the option here, show it above. So let's take it where it is above so that we maintain the default setting. Alright, now after the title bar, we come to what we call tabs. These are tabs. T-A-B. These are called tabs. These 5 tab, this home tab, this insert tab, page layout tab, down to power pivot tab. On your own, you might not have the power pivot. When we progress on this course, I will show you how to bring in your power pivot and the tab. When we get into the point of data modeling in Microsoft Excel. Alright, these are referred to as tabs, like we have here. Under each tab is what we call ribbon. Under each tab, under these tabs, all these are referred to as ribbon. These are referred to as ribbons. All these. Now the whole tab, this ribbon, what ribbon does is that ribbons displays all the functions of a tab. Ribbon is what displays all the functions of a particular tab. So what we are seeing here are different functions under the home tab. These are different functions under the home tab. And in ribbons are now divided into groups. Under ribbon, for ribbons are now divided into groups. Now groups are separated by a line, as you can see this line here. That means this is the clipboard group, this is the font group, this is the alignment group, number group, side group, sales group, editing group, analysis place. That is the group. So under each group, Whenever you come to a group and you see this icon here, you see this icon here, you see this icon here, that means there is extra functionalities that is not displaying here that you can get on this based on that group. As you can see under style, there is nothing there, but here under numbers there is something we have. Under alignment there is other things we have. So let's say if I click under this number now, can someone confirm the sound? Somebody is saying the sound is choppy. Can someone confirm the sound? Can someone confirm the sound? Please let's confirm the sound so that I can proceed. Let's see what we can do. Beautiful. It's okay here. It's okay here. All right, guys. All right. Now, like I was saying, this place shows there is extra functionalities that is not really shown the displaying here. So if I click on this, you see I have other stuff under this format cells. I have general number, this under currency. I can get other things embedded in it. I can get to my align, I can get to my font, I can get to my border, I can get to my field, I can get to my protection. We will see get to that when we talk about data security and protection. So what that entails is that when you see stuff like this, just note that there are other functionalities that you can access apart from what you are seeing right here. So that is what ribbon is. Under ribbon you have it in separate groups. If you will go to insert tab, this shows the ribbon. This ribbon shows the functionality of insert. Under insert we have the group of tables, the group of illustration, add-ins, chart, talks, pipelines, filter, link, and so on. These are different groups. Now, the same way in page layouts and what have you. Alright, now having explained the ribbon, we come here. This is called the name box. This cell, this is referred to as name box. What that is what shows the cell address, or it displays the name of the active cell. I'm still going to explain that further. Then after that we call this our formula bar. This is referred to as formula bar, where we enter Excel formulas and functions, though we can still enter it directly in the cell. Alright, now moving forward, we have what we call Excel columns. Now let me state this. Excel is a spreadsheet application. If tomorrow you go for an interview and they ask you what type of software, what type of application is Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet application. It's a spreadsheet software. Now what makes it spreadsheet is because it has columns and rows. Every software that has columns and rows are regarded as spreadsheet. So Excel is a spreadsheet software. Used for data entry, used for data analysis, used for data manipulation, used for editing, used for database analysis and printing of data. These are the uses of Excel. So when we talk about Excel, whenever you hear Excel or spreadsheet, Excel is the mostly used spreadsheet on planet Earth. The most used spreadsheet on planet Earth is Microsoft Excel. The admin use it, the analysts use it, project managers use it, medical scientists use it, and different sectors use Excel for data entry, for data manipulation, for data modeling, for data visualization. Different sectors, industries use Excel. So it's a very important tool for everyone to learn. Even if you don't want to go into the line of data analysis, even if you don't want to become an expert, a professional in data analysis, and you want to just go into another field, you still need Excel. So having explained that, what makes Excel a spreadsheet is because it has columns, and under the columns are where you have alphabets. These alphabets are called columns, while the rows are referred to as the numbers. Here these are referred to as rows. So in spreadsheet we have the columns and then we have the rows. The rows are the numbers. When you come, this is row 5, this is row 7, this is column B, and this is column H. Now when we click on the column name, we highlight the entire cell of that spreadsheet. Now I need to explain something as well, is that when we talk about a workbook, when I said this whole place is referred to as Excel workbook, this whole place is referred to as Excel workbook. Now inside the workbook is now what we call, we see in the workbook we have what we call worksheet, or the spreadsheet, or the sheet, depending on what you choose to call it. This whole place, all these, the functions, the formula bars, the tabs, and that are referred to as Excel workbook. Inside the workbook is we have spreadsheet or worksheet. Now this is what we refer to as sheet 1. We are on sheet 1. And the sheet comprises of diverse number of cells. Sheet 1 comprises of diverse number of cells. So having explained that, a cell is an intersection of columns and rows. When we talk about cell is the intersection of columns and rows. What makes up a cell is the intersection of columns and rows. Now, having established that, you look at all these boxes you are seeing here, they are all cells. Now we have as many cells as possible, but we have one active cell per time. So when I click on this becomes the active cell. Note that this becomes the active cell. We have many other cells, but this one is the active cell. And note please, we have one active cell per time. We have one active cell per time. What that simply means is that we can't have two active cells at the same time. No, we have one active cell per time. And what is active cell? Active cell is that cell in the spreadsheet that allows us to input data. So here I can type something. If I come here, I can input anything I want. So I only input data into the active cell. And like I said, here displays the name of the active cell. Now what is the name of this cell? When we come here, it says J10. What that means is that it's on the column J and the row 10. That's what it is. column J and row 10. That's what we refer to as the active cell. And the cell, this cell name displays the name of the active cell. Alright, now having explained that, we have this to be sheet 1, this is sheet 2, and this is sheet 3. This plus sign means you can add as many sheets as possible depending on what you are working on. So if I click on this plus sign here, it gives me sheet 4. If I click on it again, sheet 5, sheet 6, sheet 7, as the case may be. Alright, here is normally what we have as our scroll bar or navigation bar. We use it to navigate along this spreadsheet while working. The scroll bar, the horizontal scroll bar, and the vertical scroll bar and the horizontal scroll bar. That is the explanation of the Excel interface. That is the explanation of Excel interface. Alright, if you are with me on this call, now I'm taking my first attendance for this night section. Drop your name, your scholarship ID in the comment section. Your name, your full name please, and your scholarship ID, your full name and your scholarship ID. Much appreciated. Thank you. Now let's move over to some basic Excel tips and tricks. Some basic Excel tips and tricks for every beginner to work effectively, to work efficiently in Excel. You need to know some of these basic tricks, some of these basic tips. And I bet you some of us that are intermediate, that say they are intermediate or so, some of us might not know some of these basic tips. Now let me begin from tip number 1. Let's say for example you are working in Excel and you want to prepare a weekly report. Let's say you want to prepare a weekly report, and that weekly report you need to type the days of the week. And let's say your weekly report is from Monday to Friday. Hence, you need to, let's say you come here and you type Monday. What some of us will do is, when you type Monday, please I need to explain something so that you understand to work fast. As you type Monday, if you want to type Tuesday below Monday, you hit enter. It will move down. If you want to type Tuesday after Monday, that means in front of Monday, you hit the tab button. It will move forward. You hit the tab button on your keyboard. You hit the tab button on your keyboard. These are basic tips. First, basic tips. If you want to, let's say you type prepare a weekly report Monday to Friday, and you want to put it Monday, then what some persons will do is that they tap here and press and type Tuesday and hit and press tab again, type Wednesday, and so on and so forth. That way will work, that is correct, but you are wasting precious time. You are wasting precious time. That will work, but you are wasting precious time. Can someone confirm? Someone is saying network challenge. I think from my end we are good. Okay, now what will you do? What should you do is that in Excel there is this called autofill function. In Microsoft Excel there is a very powerful tool we refer to as autofill. It's a powerful tool. Let me zoom in a bit. We refer to it as Autofill. Autofill. Thank you, Michael, very clear. We refer to it as autofill. This autofill, and in Excel understood days of the week. So instead of me coming to type Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, no, it's wasting my productive time. If I want it in this format, I will come down here. You can see there is a small square here. A small square here that when my cursor gets to it, it becomes a tick plus sign. If I move out, it becomes this. If I get to it, it becomes a tick plus sign. That's what we call the autofill function. That's what we refer to as the autofill function. So when I click on it, hold and drag, you can see already Excel is showing me Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If I release my mouse or my cursor, automatically Excel fills the rest. This is a very important tool we use to work faster in Excel. And let's say, for example, you don't want it as per, you don't want to type it fully Monday, Tuesday, you just want it to be more like this. The same thing, you can come here, once you get to that autofill function, autofill spot, it will point to this plus sign, this tick plus sign. Hold your mouse or your cursor and drag. Automatically it fills the rest. It becomes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and rest. That way it saves us productive time. Another aspect in Excel is that if you don't want this, you can also move in this direction. You can also move vertically. You can also move vertically. You can also move vertically. That is part of the tips. Another stuff I want to show us this night is also, let's say we are preparing an annual report. We are preparing an annual report, and in that annual report, you are preparing from January to December. The same way in Monday, you don't have to type January, then you come here type February and stuff like that. No, you don't have to do that. It's wasting productive time as well. You are wasting the productive time. What you just need to do is to come here as well, come to the autofill, hold and drag. This is October, this is November. Now you see January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. If you continue to drag it, it will give you December. Now, if you continue after December, it will start afresh from January. That's what it does. If you continue after December, it starts afresh January. If you take this till Saturday, Sunday, it will come back to Monday as well. With this, it helps us to work a bit fast in Microsoft Excel. Alright, another stuff I'm going to be talking to us tonight is when you look at this, if you look at this, you see that this February is not fully seen. Wednesday is not fully seen. Thursday is not fully seen. And then September within is not something, it cuts it. In other words, the cell space doesn't contain the data or the letters that we type in. It's still there, but we can't see the rest. So for us to make sure that everything is visible, that we see everything, there are different ways that we can be able to achieve that. There are different ways. One of them is to come to, let's say this February now, and this Thursday, some part of Y is cut off, is to come between D and E. This line that is separating D and E, when I come there, you see that my cursor is like arrow pointing downwards. That is to say, I want to select column D. But when I get to the line, you see there is something like a cross but with arrow, a cross with arrow forward and backward. Is like a cross, as you can see right there on your screen, but with an arrow pointing forward and backward. So what you do is you click on it, hold and drag. We call it manual fitting. Manual fitting. You are doing it manually. You are dragging it to fit it manually. You can drag it to any point of your choice. As you can see, you see the D size is increasing. If I like, I move it this way, it will increase that. I bring it back. So let's say I leave it here. You see that it created unnecessary spacing. It created unnecessary spacing. However, if I want to give it auto fit means there shouldn't be unnecessary spacing. Auto fit. If I want to make it auto fit so that it will not have unnecessary spacing, I will come in between the two, D and E, then get to the line. When I get to the line here, what do? I double click in quick succession. Double click in quick succession. You see, automatically it gives it the auto fit. Now what you need to note is that Excel takes the longest one. Like Tuesday and February is longer than Tuesday. So it gives the auto fit to the longest, or to the data with the longest entry. Let me put it that way. Now that is a way you can do that, make it fit. Now what if, let's take for example here, I have let's say this place, I put here Excel beginners. Now, and what I want to type here, or let's say here I put here Excel beginners ID, for example. Now, and this ID, Excel beginners ID I want to put here is just, let's say 1, 2, 1, let's say it's just 1, 2, 3 and so on. Now if I double click it here so that it will be inside one cell, you see that it's taking a lot of space for me. I only want to put just one stuff here. It's only one I want to add here, for example, or let's say Excel, or let's say I put ID here, for example. Let me use that for us to understand it more better. I double click, it's creating a space for me. Now what do I need to do? Stuff like this, instead of doing this, I can reduce it further by using my manual fit to bring it here, for example. Now once I do that, the next thing I'm going to do is, once I click here, I will go to this wrap text. This wrap text. What this wrap text does is to break the ID down to next line. So once I click on it, you see it breaks it down. So it takes one of the stuff, I can increase it small. So this ID is now down instead of taking more space. With that, we have reduced the space we have. So these are different ways you can ensure that the text fits into the cell. These are different ways you can ensure that the data fitting into the cell. Alright, now what the next tips and tricks I'm going to be talking about is here. What if we have this? Will I be doing them one after the other like I did here? Come here, double click, come here, double click, come here, double click, come here, double click, come here, double click as well. Will I be doing it one after the other? That is where we are going to learn this particular basic traits. Now, when you look at this place, what is happening to my mouse? When you look at this place here, this portion that is in between A and 1, this place that is in between A and 1, when you click on it, what this does is to select the entire sheet. The entire sheet, all the sheet, both the one to select the entire sheet, all the cells, both the one that is visible and the one that you are not seeing, the ones that are down, the ones that are forward, to select all. That's what this does. When you click on it, you are selecting all. So why you do that is this. Watch. If I come here now and click and press Ctrl A, it will only highlight data within that certain range, within a certain range except detected. If I press another Ctrl A again, it will now select the entire sheet. But I don't want to be taking that route, so I will just come here and click. Once I click on it, it highlights, select. Either you say highlight or you say select. It highlights the entire cell. Over 1 billion cells in Excel. It selects the entire cells in Excel. So once that is done, what you just need to do is to come to any of these lines, any of these separators. Any of these lines separating the columns. Let's say I come to this line between A and B and double click. Now once I double click, you notice that all of them, every data here is fitted. Every data here. So you see that this September is now visible. If I move forward, November is fitted. All. So I don't have to be doing them one after the other. Coming to this one, double click and fit. Come to this one, double click and fit. What I just need to do is to come here, select, come to any of these places, any one of them, double click. It will give me the auto fit. It will give me the auto fit. That's what I just need to do for that particular auto fit aspect. I hope we are following up to this time. I want to ask, am I too fast? Am I too fast? Am I too fast? Let me hear in the comments, in the chat, am I too fast? So, because I want all of us to master all these basic stuffs. Am I too fast? Because I want to take it a step further. I want to take it a step further. Let me hear from us, am I too fast? Okay. They say no sir, no sir, no sir, you are not too fast. All right, beautiful. Good to get that from us. Okay. Now, the next thing this will also help us to do is, let's say that this data I want to delete. I want to delete all these entries. All these entries, I want to delete them. Now, instead of me coming to select this and delete, or coming to highlight, click and drag to highlight all, instead of me doing that, like the same way I will come here to select everything. Once I want to clear the data, the entries, all the entries on these sheets. Remember, the active sheet we are on is sheet 7. Sheet 7 is the active sheet. Like we have active cell. We also have active sheet. This sheet 7 is the one active. When we get further into this, when we'll be looking at Excel macros or collecting tasks, you begin to understand why I'm saying all these things. Very, very important. Okay, now once I select this, next thing you do is to hit the delete button. Hit the delete button on your keyboard. Once you hit the delete button, everything wipes off. So let me do that. Automatically, I wipe off every data, every entry in this sheet. Okay, now let's say for example we are working on monthly reports, and this sheet 1 will be January, this sheet 2 will be February, this March up to June, and here you are having your summary for your half-year report. So what do? You don't, to make it easy for you, you can rename this sheet. This sheet 1 here, you can rename it. So how do you rename it? Either way, either by double clicking here. Once you double click, you highlight the sheet 1 and you type, let's say January for example. Once you do that, you hit enter. You automatically, this sheet is now renamed from sheet 1 to January. Then you do the same here, double click. To highlight, you can call this Feb and hit enter. Here, another way you can do this for sheet 3 is you can right click. Once you right click on sheet 3, you have this option called rename. So you click on rename and you can call it March. You hit enter. Now, this is to make your workbook or your worksheet to be organized. You need to make your worksheet, your workbook to be organized. When you call it, this person knows this is January. Every time I see Ocean State, I come and type. The network is having a bit. Please confirm if you can hear me. Confirm if you can hear me. I think we are back now. I think the network is a bit challenging. Yes, I think I need to go back. Confirm now if I'm audible. Confirm if you can hear me. I need us to confirm if you can hear me now. Beautiful, loud and clear. Alright, okay, I was talking about how to rename your sheets. This, like you can see here, you can see January, February, March. Now let me do that to sheet 4. Now to rename your sheet, you can do it. Alright, I think I'm on. To rename your sheet, you can do it either way, in 2 ways. When you come to sheet 4 now, you can double click. What is happening? Please, am I still audible? Am I still audible? Please confirm if you can hear me now. Please, can you hear me? I think all right, I think I'm back. Network is a bit messy this night. Okay, now I was saying for you to rename your sheet. I was talking about you renaming your sheet. For you to rename your sheet, like you can see here, January, February, March. This can be April. This can be April. Now, here, if I double click here, if I double click on sheet 4, you see automatically I highlighted sheet 4. There I can now type April, APR, and then hit enter. Once I hit enter, the name becomes April. Now, another way you can also rename your sheet is by coming, let's say you come to sheet 5 now, and then you right click. Once you right click, this pop-up menu will appear. Now, once the pop-up menu appears, this option called rename, you click on it. Once you click on it, you see that sheet 5 is highlighted now. Then you can go ahead to say January, February, March, April, May. Once you type that, you hit enter. Alright, now once that is done, let's say you now want to change the color. You want each of them to have different colors. Then we will come to March. Now under March, you right click on March. Then you will see this we call tab color. You will see tab color. Once that tab color displays, let's say here I want to take let's say this blue, and then that's the color. If I move away, that's the color it will take. Then here I right click, go to tab. Let's say I want to take this, is it purple or pink, whatever color. Then that's what April will be. As you can see, I'm giving them different colors. I'm giving them different colors. That's how you can rename your sheet and then add some colors to it. That's how you can rename your sheet and then add some colors to it. Now, one of the stuff I wanted to talk about is, I think is here. Now here, I want to show us or teach us one of the powerful Saturdays and what have you. Now the next is, let's take for example, you are doing a research and you have data you collected, and in that data there are certain things you are going to be repeating. As you are entering, those things will be coming in, you are going to be repeating them, it will be repetitive. Now instead of you type it inside, one of the things you do is you use what we call the autocorrect option. You use what we call the autocorrect option. Now we go to file. Under file, you come to option. Let me take that again. Here, let's inside any of the sheet, go to file. Under file, you get to this back office, come to option. This dialog box will appear. Under this option, you come to proofing. Now in this proofing, you get to see this. You see these autocorrect options. Now under these autocorrect options, you click. Another dialog box will appear. You see different stuff you are doing. You see capitalized name of days. So when you write Monday, even in small letter, it will put it capital and stuff like that. You want it capital, you want the cap lock, correct accidental use of cap lock key. All these are selected. Now other stuff you see here is that these are some shortcuts you can to declare your euros, and then if you type about and type B 2 times, it will correct it to this. So what do I need to do? I will just, if I'm typing Ocean Safe often, if I'm typing Ocean often, I can put OS. Now once I put OS there, in this you say replace OS with what? Here I can now say replace OS with Ocean. I put it in a way I want. I want the first letter to be O, the other letters to be small letter. The first letter to be capital letter, the other ones to be small letter. So once I do that, I say add. That is already here. Then I will call ng. If I type ng, for example, that it should give me Nigeria. So I type Nigeria like this. And then I say add. Then let's say if I put GH, let's say give me Ghana. Give me Ghana, for example. I say add. If I put LG, we added, and then we say okay, and then we say okay. Now we have done that. So here, if I come here and type OS, move down, you see automatically it makes it to be very okay. I don't want to know what it is. Then here, if I type LG, and hit enter, it gives me Lagos. Fast, I'm not wasting time to be typing the whole stuff. Here, if I put NG and hit enter, it gives me Nigeria. It gives me Nigeria. So with that, it makes my data entry to be fast, to be fast and easy. So I just put GH and then it gives me Ghana. So with that, I'm not going to be typing a lot of things. I just put and sometimes what I do even sometimes I give them alphabets. This one A, this one B, this one C, this one G. So if this one I type A, enter, B, enter, G, enter, and stuff like that, it begins to give me their names. So what it does is that I enter it once in the autocorrect, and then it comes to my Excel and begin to use it so seamlessly for me. It's one of the important tricks, features that I bet some of us who are more advanced in Excel might not know. Some of us here might not know this. Okay, now that is on the aspect of data entry. Another thing I want to take us to in this Excel beginner course for us to understand the Excel basics and then get to move further by the next class. In this week is beginners class for Excel. Okay, now like I said, this is called columns, this is called rows. In Microsoft Excel, there are over 1 million rows. In Microsoft Excel, there are over 1 million rows. Over 1 million rows and over 200,000 columns. Now, how do you get to the last row? If you want to get to the last row in Excel, in Excel, it's simple. You press Control down arrow. You press Control down arrow. That's what you need to press to get to the last row in Excel. Control down arrow. So once I click on it now, once I press it, Control down arrow, you see it takes me straight to the last row in Excel, which is 1,500,000 48,576. So in Excel, we have 1,048,576 rows. That's what we have in Excel. We have 1 million. Okay. Now, when you look at this, you see we have 1,048,576. I just zoomed it in for us to see it more. I just zoomed it more for us to see it. Thank you, Amina and Shitu. So now, once you press Control down arrow, it takes you to the last row. Then Control forward arrow. Control forward arrow is going to take us to the last. Control forward arrow will take us to the last column. This is A, B, C. If you want to see the last column, you press Control and the forward arrow. Automatically takes us to the last column, which is XFD. This becomes the last column, XFD. Hence, this is the last cell in Excel. This is the last cell in Excel. And what you are seeing here is XFD 1,048,576. That's the last cell in Microsoft Excel. So if you are asked what's the last cell in Microsoft Excel, the name of the last cell is XFD 1,048,576. That's the name of the last cell in Excel. Every cell in Microsoft Excel has a name, and that's what we can call cell address. Cell address. Every cell here has an address to which Excel tracks the cell. Alright, now the next thing is if we want to go back to A1 where we are coming from, you press Control Home to get to A1. Anywhere you are in this sheet, in the spreadsheet, anywhere you are, to get to A1, you just press Control Home. To get to A1, you press Control Home. So let's do that quickly. We don't have much time. Control Home, you press, we already back to A1. We don't have much time for this intro in Excel. Tonight we are going to be ending by 10:30. We started 8:30. We are going to be ending by 10:30. Knowledge is something that we need to cherish. These things, I need to take them one after the other so that we understand all the basics that we needed to understand. Okay, now that is Control Home to take us to A1, anywhere you are. Even if I'm here now and press Control Home, it will automatically take me to A1. That's what Control Home does. Okay, now having done that, the next thing I'm going to show us is in number generation, the way you can generate number. Let's say under this state we have serial number, for example, and here we want to have a serial number 1 to 30 or 1 to 36, for example 100. If you don't know what to do, what you most likely to be doing is you type 1, you move down, type 2, you move down, type 3, you move down, type 4, you see, and even I have made a mistake now, I need to delete this, type 3, move down. That will take you a lot of time. That will take you a lot of time. So what you just need to do is to make use of the autofill function. Now what does that mean is that you come to this place. What that simply means is that you can come over to this place and select this range. We call this range. I need to explain that. From here to here is called range. I can select all this as well. It's a range. When you select more than one cell, we can call it range. Range. That's the name, range. So if I highlight from here to here, let's say I'm highlighting everything here, this I select the range of cell. This is called range. And what's the name of the range? This range, what's the name? The name is from the first one to the last one. How do we call this range? Now if I want to highlight this range without maybe if I want to highlight this range without maybe using my mouse or stuff like that in when I'm putting a formula which I'm yet to get to, this range is G4. Then you put column I7. I7. That's the range. That's the name for this range. The first which is G4, and the last here which is I7. So that's the range. That's the name. When you highlight this like this and stop here, the name of the range is G4 column I7. We will still get to that when we get more into when we are using more functions and formulas and other stuff in Excel. Okay, that's by the way. Now here I'm going to generate numbers. I want to generate a serial number 1 to 15, 1 to 10 as the case may be. Instead of typing it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I just need to type 1 and 2. That's just what I need. So if I type 1, 2, let's say I have typed 3 already, let me select it. Now what this does to Excel is that it's showing Excel a pattern. It's showing Excel a series, a pattern, a sequence of movement. What that means is an increase in 1. Is an increase in 1. Each cell increases by 1 with the previous cell. That's the pattern, that's the sequence Excel is in here. So if I come to this autofill function as well, once I get to that place and drag it down, it does the rest filling for me. It makes it 1 to 12. So if I keep on dragging it down, it will still get to this. That's already 140 something. If we move up, so we see what we have here. So that's how we can generate our serial number. From Thursday, when we begin to deal with formulas and functions, I will begin to show us certain formulas, certain functions that we can easily use to generate it within seconds. Okay. Now another thing we can do, we can generate a set of even numbers, type 2 and then type 4. That's a set of even number. When you highlight the 2 and then drag it down, it's an increase of 2. So with that, you can generate your numbers. You can generate your numbers. Alright. That is on the aspect of serial number generations. Another way some does that, which I don't recommend is someone typing one and then drag it down. That shows one word. Then you come here, this autofill options, you come here and then select few series. It will make it. I don't really recommend this because you don't really know the number to which it will stop. So this one is this is the one I use sometimes. Sometimes when I'm generating a small number, I use that sometimes. Okay. Now that's, let me delete this. Alright, now another thing is, let's say I have here, and then let me drag this down to Saturday, and here I want to replicate this in another place. There are different ways you can do it. Let's say I want Monday here, I want this here, and then I want it here. There are different ways you can do it. Either you press Ctrl C to copy, and then it's Ctrl V. That's one way you can do that. Another way you can do that as well is you coming over to this place. Is highlighted. This is already selected. Look, see these outlines, this selected outline. Bring your cursor on it, you will see that your cursor will change to some arrow, to 4 arrows, one pointing up, the other one for backward, forward, and downward. So once that is like that, click and hold, and then move it. This is called moving. Now, if I remove my hand from my mouse, I have just moved this stuff from here to this place. So if it's moving that I want, I will release. But if I want this to remain here, and at the same time I duplicate it here, what I need to do is to come here, hold, drag, bring it to this place. Once I get to this place, I hold Control. Please pay attention now. Once I get to this place, I hold Control. You see that once I hold my Control, you see there is a plus sign on that cursor. There is something like a plus sign on the cursor. If I remove my hand from the Control, the plus sign will disappear. Now, let's say that I have removed my hand from Control. If I hold Control again, the plus sign appears. So for me to duplicate, instead of moving, I want to duplicate this particular stuff here. I want to duplicate it here. What I will do, I'm still holding down my mouse. I now hold Control. Once I hold Control, I will remove my hand from my mouse first. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm going to give it a heading. Like week 1. Now this week 1, I want it in such a way that it should be, how will I put it now? It should be bold. I will come here and make it bold. Unless I want to increase the font size, I increase the font size. Let me make it this way. Let's say that's what I want, week 1. And then, let's say I want to make the color to be red. For example, I select this. This is for font color. When you click this, you can select any of the colors. Whatever color you want, you can select any of these colors. So let's say I want it to be blue. For example, I select blue. Now, if I want to color the background, this thing that looks like cup here is to color the background. So I select it. Let's say I want the background to be just like this gray. I select it. Now, That is what I want. But here now I can come over to this place and say this is week 2. Now this week 2 that I put here, instead of me coming to do the same thing over and over again, coming to select this, make this and that, I can come here. Let's say I do this one, and then let me move this over to this place, hold my control and release, then make this with 3 for example. Now instead of me coming to repeat this formatting over these ones, repeating them over, I can come here and then come over to this. This is format painter. What you are seeing here is called format painter. So I will come over to this, double click on it. Now once I double click on it, you see what I'm having like brush. I will come to this and click. It will give it that exact format. I will come to this and click again. It will give it that exact format. So once I'm satisfied, then I press my escape key, my escape button, because anything I click here will give me that format. If I click here, it will give it that format. You see gray. So if I type in anything there, it gives that color. If I type anything there, it gives that color. So that is format painter. That is format painter. If you want to use it once, if you just want to use it once, click on it once. Once I use it, it will disappear. If I select anything here, unless I select this, it disappears. But if you know you are going to be you are going to select more than one stuff, you just select it, click on that one you formatted, and then double click here. Once you double click, you can just come here, select, you can come here, select, you can come here, select anyone you want, you can select your choice. So once you confirm you are okay, you press the escape key and the formatting is off. The formatting is off. Okay, now that is on the aspect of formatting. Now another stuff I want to show us is, let me go back to this, let me clear this, let me delete, and let me zoom in, increase the size. Now let's say I'm preparing a monthly report, and then this is a sales report. I want to make it, let's say the company I want to put the company header and then the heading of what I'm working on before preparing the spreadsheet. What I just need to do is that I can come here and highlight this range. Once I highlight this range, for example, and I'm okay with this range I highlighted, I can come over to this merge and center. This merge and center, once I click on it, it will merge these cells into one. When we get into data analysis proper and data cleaning, you will know why these things sometimes we don't encourage it in preparing your spreadsheet. But in preparing stuff you want to print out, you want to send quotations, you want to send proposal, and then the data, the entries will be here, but the name of the company, what you are doing, and that you can do this. But if you are preparing a data set for analysis, it's not necessary. So you can come here and click merge and center. You see this is already as one. Let me make it this so that we can see it. You see it's already seen as one. So here I can type in ABC. Let's say I can type in ABC limited, for example. That might be. So you see what we have here, ABC limited. Now these things you are seeing here are for different alignment. This is center bottom. As you can see, center bottom. If you want it to be at the middle, you can put center and middle, select this middle. It becomes middle alignment. This is bold. You can increase the font size. You can select this blue. This already in this color. If you don't want it, you can select any of your choice. You can select it. Please, can you hear me now? Can someone hear me now? Confirm, please. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. Beautiful. Thank you for the response. And thank you for calling my attention to this sound. Thank you for calling my attention to this sound. Okay. Now, this we will be, very soon we will be rounding up. We will be rounding up very soon. Very soon we will be rounding up on this intro in Excel. We will be rounding up. Okay. Now, where am I? Okay, on border. These are basic stuff for Microsoft Word. I believe we know bold, italicize, underline. Now, we will be, as we move further, we will be knowing more on these number formats. This is to, what you are seeing here is to increase decimal. For example, if I have 1.23, for example, I have, let's say, 1.23, 0.23 here, and then I come here to click on this. If I click on it, it increases the decimal, add a 0 to it. If I click on it again, it adds another 0. Now let me put something here. Let me make this to be 6. Let me make it to be 6. Now watch, if I come to this one, it decreases decimal. So if I click on it, it removes 0. Click on it, remove 0. If I click on it, it makes this one to be 3. Why? Because Excel understand basic mathematics, approximation. Approximately 3 to the nearest whole number is 3. Then if I go further, it gives it 1, because 0.3 is not up to 5. It's not up to 0.5. So it can't approximate it to 2. However, if I increase it and come here and make this one 4, for example, and then go back to reduce it, this is 5, this is 1. Why? Because it's in between, it's still not enough value. So if I increase them and then come over to this one and make it 5, hence it will now be able to do that. Now let's do that again. Decrease, and decrease. You see now approximately 2. So these are some basic functionalities we have. Here you can insert, to insert cell, to insert row, to insert columns, and to insert sheets. That's here you can delete cell, delete rows, delete columns, delete sheets. Then here you can also do some formatting based on row heights, auto fit, and other stuff. Protect cell. As we progress, we will get to see them. Sort and filter, we see them as we progress. Auto sum, we are going to be using it also to clear formatting. If I want to clear this formatting here now, I can come here, select, and say clear all. Now you see everything is gone. I got back to the original setup. Now if I press Ctrl Z, I will return back to what I removed earlier. Okay, now that is what we have here, the basic home tab functions that every Excel user mostly will have to use every now and then. Now insert, it has to do with when we get to pivot table, we will see them illustration, adding charts. We will be doing some of this as we progress. Page layout, having to talk about page layout, laying out your page, and here what have you. Here you can insert some background pictures. If you want to put pictures on the background, you come to your stuff, then from file, get a particular picture that becomes the background picture. On your own, you can try that. I'm trying to be a bit fast in explaining all the necessary interface that you need to understand. All right, now to wrap up the session tonight, I need to wrap up with this here. This called Customize Quick Access Toolbar. Now what that means is that this what I'm teaching now can also be applied in Microsoft Word. It can also be applied in PowerPoint. Now here I can create my own tab and put the necessary tools that I want. Let's say I have a project I'm working on, and by looking at that project, I know the tools, the necessary tools that I'm going to use, all the necessary tools that I'm going to use. However, I don't want to be going to click on home and later come to insert and maybe later I come to data, or later I come to view, or later I come to developer, as the case may be. I want everything to be under a particular tab, under one tab, so that if I click on it, I'm seeing everything I need to use, or to every tools I need for that particular project I'm working on. So what do? I can create my own customized tab and give it a name. So to do that, I will come here under this place. Once I click on this, you will go down and see what we call more commands, or you come to any of the tabs here, and right click. Once you right click, you will see customize ribbon. Either way, so once I click on customize ribbon, this dialog box will pop up. Once it pops up, I will come to this. It shows me popular commands. In other words, these are mostly commands that people use so often, that are popular. However, there are others. There are more commands. So I can come here and click this drop down arrow, and then go to all commands. So once I select it, it gives me all the functions, all the commands in Microsoft Excel. So once that is done, I can come here. You see this. What we have here, I can come here and declare my new and create my new tab. Once I click on it, it gives me that new tab. That's what we have here. So on it here, I can come here, right click, and then rename. What name do I want to give the new tab? Let's say I call it my project. Let's say I call it my project, and then I say okay. Now under this new tab, let's say I want to put group. Now this group, I right click on it, go to rename. Let's say the name of this group, let's say under this group I'm putting everything called chart. All the chart stuff I need, I'm putting it there. Chart. I say okay. So under this, I will come to these commands. Let me enter inside this place. I type P. It takes me down to P. I will search for pivot charts. Let's search for pivot chart. Now I see pivot charts. I click on it and say add. Now you see it's added under this group called chart. Then I will also select pivot chart and pivot table, and then add under this. And let's say pivot chart field, let's say add under it as well. For example, for that, then under this I type C. Now in C, if there are other charts, these are charts. Let's come down. So this chart, I add it here. Let's say anything on chart, let's say I'm okay with this. I will come here to declare a new group. I will click on new group. Now you see another group is added. I will come here, right click, rename it. Let's say here I'll call these functions, for example. Let's say I name it functions. Now under these functions, let's say on it, let me come in here as well, put my P, and let's say I'm looking for pivot tables, not pivot chart and table. Let's say I'm looking for pivot table. Now this is my pivot table. I add it here. Let's say I'm looking for another stuff. Let's say I'm looking for workbook statistics. I put it there. Then let's say here I'm looking for data labels or data validation. I add it here. Let's say I'm also what other stuff can I use here under functions? Let's also delete design mode. Let's say design mode, I put it here. And that if I need other groups, some whatever I'm working on, under groups and stuff that I need, maybe another group, I call it rename, I call it design. So under the design, let's say I come here and look for X. Under X, I'm looking for shapes. Now this is shapes. I'm looking for shape fields and then shape effects. For example, looking for shadow color. I add it here. Let's say what other stuff. Let's say ruler, whatever, or okay. Let's say I'm okay with this. Now once that is done, I'm okay with this. Here I can collapse this, and the same time I can collapse this. This is custom, and then I say okay. Now automatically you will see my new tab here, my project tab. So if I click on it, you see all those ones I selected in their separate groups. This is the chart group, this is the function group, and this is the design group. So with this, you can create your own customized tab. You can create your own customized tabs. You can select your own customized commands. By creating your own customized tabs, then bringing your own customized commands that you need. If these are what I need for my project, so I don't need to be going front and back to be doing all those stuff. Everything is here. I will just be working. If I need to do my data validation, I select. If I need to do my pivot chart, I select. If I need to do my pivot table, I select. Whatever I needed to do, I select. So those are stuff as regards to customize quick access toolbar. Now the floor is open for questions. If we have any questions, the floor is open. I know there are other things. As we progress, we will be getting to know them. Tonight is to get us to be familiar with Excel interface and different functionalities, basic tips and tricks that we need to know to be more fast, efficient in Microsoft Excel. As we progress, we will still continue to learn more. Now, questions. If you have any question, drop it in the group. And then finally, our final attendance for tonight. Your name and your scholarship ID. Our final attendance for tonight, your name and your scholarship ID. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for being available. Next time is on Thursday. We will be moving further into something more interesting, where we will be going to learn Excel formulas and functions. Where we are going to be learning Excel formulas and functions that we need effectively as data analysts and in our day-to-day activities. That session is going to be so amazing. One of the projects we are going to be doing on Thursday Thursday is, after learning the formulas and functions, we are going to be learning how to prepare a simple payroll, and then how to prepare a simple inventory sheet, how to prepare a simple payroll, and how to prepare a simple inventory sheet. We are going to be doing 2 projects on Thursday: how to prepare a payroll, how to prepare an inventory sheet. So you need not to miss the section on Thursday. Now, your name and your scholarship ID much appreciated, and also if there is any question, do well to drop it. If there is any question, do well to drop it. Please, yes, once you come to YouTube, anytime you come to the channel, you will see it there. That's why, like I told us in the scholarship group, I don't have to ask, sir, I lost my file, can you resend that recording to me? That's why we are making use of the YouTube platform. It's there already for you. Alright, how is tonight's section? Let me know, give me that feedback. How is tonight's section? What and what do you learn? What and what do you learn as regards to Excel? What are things you learned as regards to Excel? Let me get that from us. Also, remember your name, your scholarship ID. That much appreciated. What and what did you learn tonight? What and what did you learn tonight? What and what did you learn? How is tonight's section? How is tonight's section? How is tonight's section? Thank you. It was amazing. Thank you, Daniel, for that feedback. That alone is a motivation for me to keep on dishing it out. It was awesome, so impactful. Thank you, sir. Good to hear that. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Thank you, Dennis. Good to hear that from us. All right. Remember to drop your name, your scholarship ID. That is my final attendance for us tonight. Thank you once again, and do enjoy your night rest. Thank you.